kind of have a belief about suspense. It's the anticipation of the scare that's kind of better than the scare itself.
We had a very short schedule to work with. So when you're dealing with special effects, it was always go, go, go. Not a lot of sitting around in your trailer for anything, which I like to work that way.
It's always my goal whenever I approach a project to show them something that they've never seen before.
That's our goal, is to have a good time and make a good action film.
Action!
You can grab some bits and pieces too.
The Ice Cream Man was definitely about him being preternatural or supernatural and in a way that was hopefully very disturbing for the audience when they see it, with these elongated arms and elongated legs and this very spidery type of character that's all stretched out.
The Ice Cream Man, the great Doug Jones, the most elastic man on the planet. He's just incredible. Doug, who's been mostly unrecognizable in movies of late because he's usually covered in some kind of prosthetics.
Doug was the guy to do it. So we cast his arms and his legs, and we created sort of an elongated set of legs that come off of his hips.
My own leg is going to be put into a green screen colored leotard I'm wearing a shoe, and I've got the costume that comes down to my hips. With a fake prosthetic leg that is way long here, way long there, and so I'm wearing a leg between my foot and my hip that's much longer than my own leg, with a knee joint in it, and so I basically operate the entire thing. So the only CG you'll be seeing is it's not a computer-generated leg, but a computer-wiped-out leg of mine, basically, that they're going to be taking that away with visual effects.
We've grown his arms out with silicone extensions inside of fiberglass shells. So he kind of runs around on these long hands and extremely long legs.
And the arms are a simple thing of I'll be sticking my hands with KY jelly. That's always my favorite thing. I lube it up and stick it into this silicone arm. And then that has an extended arm on it with my hand way down here somewhere. So, and then they're very strong, so I can get down on them and run on all fours.
We've also elongated his face.
And like I do this kind of a thing and my jaw drops down to where a human can't drop their jaw.
Hopefully we come up with a really memorable and original, iconic little piece of film villainy there for everyone to enjoy.
The guys at Optic Nerve that created this look for me, they only had so much time back in Los Angeles to do fittings with me. So we did like a very preliminary fitting there, then they had to come here and start the film. So I just yesterday put on the finished pieces, and thank heaven it all worked wonderfully. People often ask, like, how do you prepare for these crazy roles that you play? Because I'm often in some kind of a crazy costume or something, an otherworldly creature even. And I go to my 24-hour fitness gym, and after the aerobics classes are done for the day, late at night, I'll use that whole wooden dance floor with the mirrors, and I'll do whatever I have to do in front of those mirrors to kind of create this character.
I literally saw him walking from the trailer with his entire suit on, and that thing freaked me out. It was way early in the morning. I had just woken up, I just got to work, and I was just like, what a hell of a film, man.
I knew that I had to be down and get strong in a squatted legged, hands and feet position. So in the mirror, I would run back and forth with different postures, different sidewindery sort of thing, going sideways, going straight forward, going backward, just so I could get the strength and the familiarity with being on all fours and making it look like this is just organic for me. Speaking of organic, I'm getting all my minerals right now.
Doug Jones and his interesting costume. The neat thing about that was the look of it. And what has to happen is when his jaw opens and he starts running towards the characters, Ice Cream Man has to leap into the air, and then we have to blast him with the guns. He has to fall back, and what we have to take into account is the costume. Is it safe for him to fly into the air, fall back to the ground without something hitting him and causing an injury? So we rehearse it first without the costume to see if it's the look that we want, and then we put the costume on and slowly build up to full speed.
Get ready.
I thought that the animatronic baby was a real baby at first, because it was like, it was making a sound and it was moving its face and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, what's his name? And they're like, it's fake. I was like, what? Why? How?
We've done so many of these gags over the years with Larry O'Dean, who's just a master mechanic. I went to Larry immediately when we started work on the show, and I really wanted that baby to work well. The amount of baby work that there was to be done here, I knew that we were going to get a lot of play out of this, so we really tried to push that as far as we could. Larry gave it all of these wonderful mechanized motions, its eyes and its nose and its lips and its mouth, and they're all on separate servos, and so it's incredibly articulate for a mechanical baby.
I'm Larry O'Dean. I work for Optic Nerve. I'm in charge of the mechanical effects within the company. And they had said that there were going to be real babies on the set, but you know how that goes sometimes. They're always full of surprises, and so we used this guy quite a bit. Did stunts with it.
Action!
He has a few gashes, but he keeps ticking. This particular one has 6 different points of movement. The head right and left, up, down, all your neck movements. Also a mouth movement, a little bit of puckering, the eyes, the blinks, eyes right and left. The biggest change with the servos are the magnets. Magnets have evolved so much through the years, so you have more power from them, and batteries, of course, that's the biggest breakthrough in our industry. Smaller and have the same amount of juice, and it even lasts longer. And the transmitters themselves continually evolve. You have mixing capabilities. It allows you to mix 3, 4, 5, even 12 motors off of one direction on this joystick, which helps you a lot as a puppeteer. You're not sitting there trying to move all these joysticks. You know that you're going to make this mouth go to an O or an E or something just by one little sweep of the joystick. We have 6 different movements. He has neck right and left, and then up and down, and then a mouth movement, and then he has a puckering ability with his mouth, and then the eye movement. He has not only right and left, but he has up and down. And that's really effective when the eyes are closed. It's almost like he's having a dream or something. You see this tracking going on underneath the lid, as though he's thinking and dreaming about something.
Gladys is one of my favorite characters because Jeanette, the actress, is just hilarious. She's hysterical, and to see like the word cunt come out of her mouth is just maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen. She's a sweet old lady, like, you know, so nice and everything, and like screaming all these obscene words and going nuts.
You will never save her.
And the scariest with all the makeup and the teeth.
And action!
This old lady turns into this sort of ferocious thing and bites a guy and takes a big chunk out of his neck and then gets hit in the head with a frying pan. She sort of disappears from the frame and then slowly rises up, and there's a bone sticking out of her cheek and she's got blood coming out, and it's an 86-year-old lady, and you're sort of looking at it going, oh God, she's just pissed. And she comes roaring across the diner, and tables and chairs go flying, and then she crawls right up the wall and up to the ceiling, and she's sticking to the ceiling like some kind of insect. And of course, that's where we get very exorcist-y.
So I would be going like this, right?
Yeah, right.
So I would be going, okay, so.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, cut.
Well, this has been the most collaborative process that I've ever been involved with. Possessed have been handled primarily by the straight makeup department, the wonderful artists that they are, with the exception of a character here and there. Gladys was something that we tackled.
The makeup is done by both Glenn and Richard. They're experts at it. And the makeup does go farther. Most of it's off now, but the black around the eyes, and this is, my jaw gets broken, so this is the jawbone.
Action!
All of this is supposed to be blood around my mouth because I bite a man.
3, 2, 1, back!
And of course you can see that my teeth change.
There are certain lead characters like Gladys that got their own set of dentures. So we actually take an alginate impression of the teeth, just like a dentist would if they were going to make dentures. And then we designed the teeth around that. We sculpted them.
They work pretty well because they made a cast and they just hook right onto my teeth. So yes, it isn't easy to articulate.
You'll never save her! You'll never save her! You'll never save her!
We had gone through all of these different versions of sharp teeth and small teeth and large teeth and crooked teeth, and finally we came to this conclusion that these baby teeth were really creepy, and Scott was happy with them.
All right, here we go. Quiet, please. We are rolling.
Especially when you see them on Gladys, you go, yeah, it's spooky, you know, it's unsettling.
I don't eat with them, man. I had to go to Richard and Glenn's shop where they made a cast of my head, my neck, and my shoulder.
Gladys does this crazy thing and runs across the ceiling, and she's sticking to the ceiling like some kind of insect. Doing that involved a bunch of different things. First, it was storyboarded.
What'd you just say?
I said your fucking baby's gonna burn.
Go to hell, Amy.
What happened?
All those little babies are gonna burn.
Oh.
Gladys,
Shut up, you stupid fucking cunt. All you do is complain, complain, complain.
What did you just say? I don't know who the hell you think you are, but I'd like you to apologize to my wife.
Then we did 3D pre-visualization of the sequence. I really wanted to feel like she was really up there and that we were down on the ground looking and the camera was going all over the place and people were in the frame. And then John Medlin and his crew would take over with the stunt people, and there was a stunt woman that was dressed up as the Gladys character, and she was on rails and wires on the ceiling.
3, 2, 1, go!
We were really excited to do the action for the Gladys sequence because we knew that there was wire work involved and we had to build a track, and the set was designed based on what we had to do with Gladys climbing on the ceiling.
3, 2, 1, go!
Every scene in this movie has some sort of gag, whether it's special effects, visual effects, some crazy prop being used, or a stunt.
3, 2, 1, go!
So the challenging part of that, it was to not cheat it and do an upside down piece or, have our stunt person run on the ground. So we had to build these tracks and connect them to the ceiling piece, rehearse with our stunt person, and pull her along as if she's running like a creepy crawly crab.
You saw me on the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I had to do that, and I was glad to do it. A very strange feeling laying there, and your head is going completely back in order to talk to one of the other actors. It's uncomfortable, yes.
Action! Okay. Cut. Head support. All right.
My goal was to give Scott his vision, and knowing how it's his dream to finally make this happen, it was exciting to know that he wanted me to come on second unit and actually do the action pieces.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! And good. Cut. Wow, nice job. Okay.
Boom. Good job. I'd give you a high five, but I might mess up your thumb. Nice work. You want to give me one more? All right! Yeah! We start doing pre-viz. Or storyboards.
Audrey, the flare gun!
Or stunt rehearsals. videotape everything and present it to Scott, make sure it's right on. And then when it comes time for shooting, that makes it much faster.
We don't see blood yet. We'll see in this shot him landing his face and see him. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Cut! Stay there, don't move. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Kate getting shot, we used what is called a hand pole. We put her in a harness, and we have some pads out behind her, one of our stunt utilities. We'll give them a cue, and on 3, 2, 1, action. And on action, special effects will blow the squib, and my stunt utility will pull her out, and it's a great shot.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go!
It's kind of a fun challenge. You gotta go throw down and commit to it, so it's been a really amazing experience.
At the beginning, you know, Jeep doesn't do that much, but there's a little bit of action in it for me. Had to dive and catch the baby.
The baby drops and Jeep saves the day. Of course, Jeep did his own stunt, which was pretty amazing. We called it the touchdown.
My life flashed right before my eyes.
Paul Bettany, an amazing guy, amazing ability. I watched his movies prior to this to kind of study and research him, and I'm like, I hope he can pull it off. He comes into rehearsal, he can see everything that we did on video, and he goes, I want to do that.
There's a few things they simply won't let me do, but mostly yes, I'm doing it all, and I love it. It's embarrassingly fun.
He does this one really cool move, we call it the butterfly twist, where Gabriel is trying to slice at him behind the counter with his wing, and Paul will flip over the wing, landing on the other side, shooting his gun back at him as Gabriel uses his wing to deflect the bullets, comes in to hit him with the mace, and then Paul will do this butterfly twist over where we wrap the wire around his waist, lifting him into the air, and he does a horizontal 360 spin, landing on his feet and firing the gun again. It was incredible.
It truly was a rush, unlike anything legal that I know of. I had to run out and maim and beat up and kill a bunch of possessed people, and there were all these stunt guys. They're just the best, most decent human beings in the world. It's like being 10 years old with friends that don't mind if you hit them. You know, I was really hitting and kicking a few of these guys, and they take it in such good spirits. But it's like being a kid and playing army.
So there was a lot of really great things that Paul's able to do. He's just a natural, athletic person who's capable of doing it. My goal is to make sure our actors get through it safely, and with his ability, I feel very comfortable.
I get to do things that I simply can't, like backflips and butterfly rolls. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, good. Let's go home. Bye. You're a rock star.
Scene 38, our goal in that scene was to keep the possessed from getting to the diner.
The first assault is when the 405 freeway at rush hour arrives at the diner while we were doing those sequences. There's a first unit and a second unit on the movie, so I'm directing first unit, and second unit is the units that was directed by John Menlin, who's our stunt coordinator.
When we do this, we'll call action. Tom will be the first car. The big rig will be behind it. Once Tom hits his button, he's going to flip in this direction towards the police car. We got a camera over here behind the gas pump, camera over there by the barrels. There will be fire involved in this gag as well.
When we were preparing everything, we started out with little miniature cars, and we designed everything in doing what we call like stop motion.
Eventually we're going to have him tap Tom, keep turning him around, Randy will slide out. That's Dave Huggins, he's going to do his Sidewinder. Then we got, who do we say, Ted sliding out in here, Chris coming in, throwing it sideways, maybe catching the rear end of that, jamming this up.
Once that's complete, we'll go ahead and start mapping it out with the stunt guys. So we had 20 stunt drivers, 20 stunt cars, and then behind that we had a bunch of extras to just fill the space, probably about another 50. And we'll build roll cages for the cars, the ones that are flipping, so when they're rolling over, they're safe. And we'll add some explosions to some of these cars. Our first car crash is what creates the chaos, and that happens from Paul and his accuracy on firing on these cars. That first car ends up hitting a ramp, smashing into the back of a station wagon that was shot at. When it spins out in the road, hit by another car. And with that all tied together, it looks like a big cluster of cars just coming to a halt. Lots of freaking, lots of special effects with Zerk hits, which are the bullet hits that ricochet off the cars that look like sparks. We have fire gags, explosions. Then when we're ready to shoot, we'll do a dry run. Everyone will get out of their car, and we'll walk through the positions and make sure everyone knows exactly what they're doing. Roll cameras, the guys would come in on a certain mark, hit their buttons, and hit the ramps, and come flying into the camera with a nice explosion. It's pretty spectacular.
I'm kind of a big believer in changing the gag in a sequence, so you don't use the same technique for every shot. And so you do all these different tricks, and it's interchanging. But once again, it's sort of the magic of movies. But my favorite scary movies are the ones that really take their time to let things evolve, so that you get invested in the characters.
Action.
I think she'd like that.
Very nice.
So there's a lot to do. Car work, fights, lots of wire gags, and with the right people, we can get it done fast.
Are we safe now?
The movie is about faith and the things that we believe in, and so the characters each represent a variety of different points of view.
Through this horrific incident, every single character is finding humanity.
It's got some great actors in it.
People really kicked ass as far as where they went with their characters. Legion really is an ensemble. Besides being a big horror movie, the emphasis is also on character as well.
It was really important to get great actors into the movie if we were going to spend a whole movie locked in a diner with them.
You've got Dennis Quaid, and you've got Charles Dutton and Lucas Black.
The actors that they've found and the directing and everything has made this such an amazing piece.
This cast is awesome. I mean, all of us are so lucky, because everybody makes everybody look good.
With all these people attached, when I heard that Paul Bettany and Dennis Quaid and Kate Walsh and all these people are attached, it's like, okay, obviously this is something that I need to be in.
The last time God lost faith in man, he sent a flood. This time he sent what you see outside.
Every director, and most of them sort of put it between somewhere between 50 and 90% of a director's, the most important decision they can make is how they cast the film. And fortunately, we got Paul Bettany to commit to the movie. I flew to New York and met with him.
It was the best pitched movie. I don't really like the script, but he pitched his movie better than anybody who's ever pitched a movie to me before.
He was just so into it, and I had this, I was trying to tell him how elevated the movie was going to be, and he just wanted to shoot a machine gun and have a really great time.
I'd never been in an action movie before, so that was quite exciting.
So he turned out to be just the most tremendous partner a filmmaker could have.
Here we go, and action!
Archangel Michael is famed for being the first in all heaven to bow down before mankind. And I think that he has just stuck to his guns on it.
It started. There isn't much time.
Paul Bettany did an incredible job. He worked forever on his fighting moves and working with guns and working with all that. Really just a lot of high energy from him, very intense.
There was a bunch of moments on this set when I was doing scenes with Paul, and I went from focusing on doing my scene to enjoying his performance. You're not supposed to enjoy someone's performance while you're performing with them. And it happened, because he's that good.
Yeah.
Not in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be able to get Dennis Quaid into this movie.
I don't even believe in God.
Well, that's just fine. Bobby doesn't believe in you either.
He plays the character of Bob Hansen, who owns this diner in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And he's kind of a guy that finds solace in the bottom of a beer can.
This diner is his kingdom. It's his domain that he's got, but at the same time, he doesn't really want to be there. He's a loser, and he doesn't want his son to end up the same way that he did.
And I see you making the same damn mistake I made. Believing in something that's never gonna happen.
Dennis really brought a sense of warmth and humor and humanity to the film.
He's got the sort of, I guess, funniest part, and yet he can just turn it on a dime, as you say in this country. Really, he's extraordinary to watch work.
Action.
Now let me see them teeth. Teeth, goddammit! Let me see them!
And then Lucas Black's character, he's fun because by staying here and not listening to everybody, he turns out to be in exactly the right place he needs to be to become a hero.
I can't explain it, Dad. I just feel like it's something I gotta do.
We wanted to make sure at the beginning stages of the movie that Jeep keeps to himself, doesn't really say a lot until Michael ends up telling Jeep he kept his faith because of him.
You are the reason I still have faith.
Michael becomes his mentor and starts transforming into Michael. That's what I liked about the character when I first read the script, for sure, is where he starts and then where he ends up at the end of the movie.
It's coming.
Adrianne Palicki, she's the character that goes through the biggest change in the course of the story.
When I first saw this script, to see like an amazing female role in my age group was first and foremost fantastic. The childbirth scene to me was maybe the scariest thing I've ever done as an actor. So I kind of had a panic attack like the day before, and I'm like, I need to get the miracle of life. Somebody get me a video.
Wait! Just because I'm a girl does not mean I know how to do this.
Calm, do exactly as I tell you.
How do you know what to do?
She doesn't want this baby, but throughout the process of the movie, you come to find that she has this heart, and that maternal instinct kind of kicks in later on.
Be back to me right now. Why? You didn't even want him in the first place.
We were doing this scene, which is this whole explanation of the apocalypse. The first thing I did was, when we were rolling, was I looked up at Charles done. But I absolutely believed the end of the world was coming. He is a force of nature, and you just believe everything he says. And I was like, maybe it fucking is the apocalypse.
Hold on, son. I don't know what book you've been reading, but in my version, the angels are the good guys.
Well, the truth, I'm afraid, is never that simple.
You know, I always viewed this thing that him and Bob came up with this concoction to open up a restaurant, a diner in the middle of the damn desert. And because in 10, 15 years, it's gonna be a booming town. Here they are 15 years later. No developments, and they're still stuck in the desert.
We call ourselves the Bickersons because, like an old married couple, that's what we did.
I told you to get the satellite TV, but you didn't want to listen.
What the hell do I need that crap for?
The History Channel, man. He has a scene with another character, the character of Kyle, where, you know, he explains to the kid that he's got to start trying to get his own life straightened out. You know, he's got to start trying to seek redemption.
I don't know exactly what he drew from, but he drew from something that made what he was talking about come from a real place. And those tears just start flowing. I was in school, man, once again.
It's your last day on Earth. Would you be proud of what you've done in this life?
Tyrese Gibson plays this character, Kyle, who stops at the diner because he is lost on the road through the desert and his cell phone is getting no reception and he's looking for a phone. And it's as simple as that.
My character is actually on his way to court to try and fight for custody of my son, and I end up pulling over to this diner to get directions. And that's where all hell breaks loose. I got you.
Films with teenagers in it, most of them get typecast, you know, it's just like either a rebellious teenager, a quirky teenager, or something like that. You can only get to a few different places with them. And this one, I love that it goes throughout many levels with her. I've never worked on something like this before. I have nothing this outrageous and crazy and like supernatural, and it's oh my God. It's amazing doing it. I have so much fun doing this film.
I think that one of the great things about this script and about what Scott wrote and these characters is that immediately you see them and you know who they are. The circumstances are so extraordinary and heightened and extreme that you can kind of rationalize any behavior, you know, in lieu of, you know, everything that's happening. And it's kind of a fun challenge.
What are you doing? It's just one baby. It's just one baby.
And cut. Great.
It is a genre horror movie, but it's also something more than that as well. It's very twisted. It's Scott Stewart, the director, who's very twisted. He's extremely talented.
He's a very impressive human being. I think he finished high school at about the age of 3 or something like that.
He storyboarded the entire thing, so he had the whole movie in his head and knew what everything looked like. And he comes out of special effects, and he has a great imagination.
You know, one of my favorite quotes is, "Only those that can see the invisible can do the impossible." And so when you're on the set with Scott, he's describing all of this stuff, all of these dimensions and layers, and seeing the unseen. And I think Scott did a great job.
He's very open to listening to us, even though this has been very thought out. I mean, he's so meticulous. I mean, he's thought about this for 6 years, so it's his baby. So to have an amazing director as well, it's been a blast.
It's just crazy how he has put this all together, because that's kind of somebody's like dream in a way, you know, that like who gets to live that? Scott does.
Having a background in visual effects helps in all sorts of different ways. I was at ILM for 4 years before starting my own company. Being very comfortable working with that made it much easier, I think, in many respects, to try to get as much as we did on the screen.
The best thing about working with Scott, as you say, is that he has a background in visual effects, or general understanding of visual effects, and also what to look for in a shot.
My name is Gray Marshall, and I was the on-set visual effects supervisor for Legion. Even before the film is greenlit, the effects work is being planned and budgeted and at least laid out in its rough form. Then during pre-production, we create the list of effects we're going to have in the movie, refine it, how we're going to do it, who's going to do it, and all these various aspects. And that's part of my job as well.
When Gladys is running through the diner, that's practical, and wires are pulling tables and chairs out of the way. Then when she jumps up on the glass and walks up, that's going to be a CG version of her. Because we couldn't get a stunt person to do anything like that believably, obviously.
But when I came onto the film, Gladys was photographed, and what was missing was the non-stunt work.
Gladys was a lot of fun, and a lot rested upon Gladys, because Gladys is really the first time that the possessed world enters into our fairly normal environment. So there's stunt work, there's makeup work, there's rig removal of getting rid of the wire holding the stunt actress.
We used the background plates of that, and then we made a full CG Gladys from the photography of her, and then animate her doing those things, and it took quite a few weeks to get the motion right. But what we had to do was treat her like not a human lady of 90 pounds, but more of an insect. Even though her clothing has to behave in our world, her own body behaves by totally different laws.
They try to get Howard to the hospital, and the first thing that they run into a fly swarm. They run into these dark clouds that have been closing in on the diner from the north and the south. Turn out to not be clouds at all, but a swarm of flies. And that's where you start to go, okay, this is biblical. There's something really big happening here, and it's very supernatural.
The swarm of flies was conceived as a matte painting because we mostly see the swarm of flies from a distance. You know, it's possible to conceive of it as one piece of artwork. A lot of visual effects ends up being about suggesting something that isn't really there. So just in light and shadow and color, if you look very close at these paintings, you're not going to see more detail, you'll see less. So we had a very good, extremely talented matte painter. She made maybe 20 or 30 versions of this fly cloud, and Scott had very specific ideas. You know, how do you make something that doesn't just look like a mass of gray? You know, something that's dynamic. It looks like an explosion that's kind of frozen in the air. It looks like it's, you know, it's one of, you know, like God's wrath really is what you have to say, but it's broad daylight, it's 12 o'clock noon, which is sort of the least threatening time. It's a lot of ideas that have to turn into a visual image. It looks believable and it looks threatening.
Even when the swarm gets in the car, that was all done with computer graphics, but the actors were told to react, and we did our various shots. You can't really fake or build later those reactions and so forth.
At that point it does become 3D, and they did model, you know, 4 or 5 different kinds of flies, and they fill it with 1,000 points of flies, really. And they're constrained in a 3D car model, and there are holdouts with 3D people so that the flies can fly around them. It's creating in the digital realm the same circumstances as the photography, except that it's an impossible event. There shouldn't be anything visually to tell you that it's not photographed.
The Ice Cream Man. He gets enhanced digitally, of course. We stretch his jaw down, and we stretch his hands, and we do all sorts of stuff. And then there's part of him where he's wearing prosthetic arms and legs, but he's this character that you know, steps out of this ice cream truck.
Ice Cream Man was, though, one of those that was mostly planned on being practical and in camera, and then using visual effects to clean up.
The post-production job was getting rid of the green suit and a lot of Doug Jones, frankly.
Doug Jones got extensions on his arms to make them longer, and his legs are actually sticking out the back of the ice cream man, the legs you see in the costume. He's puppeting them with his own legs, in that his own legs are covered in green screen material and easy to remove. And then the computer animation came in to enhance his face, give it more character and life.
And then we also had to distort his face and body beyond what was photographed.
You could see just scenes where he's putting his arm out and stretching him out, and it looks like the arms are growing, but then the computer work came in and slimmed it out and made it look even narrower. In that particular case, the computers became more of an icing on the cake, but the core of it is still Doug, very much in there, very much doing that role as ice cream man.
The Boyle sequence, all of the shots were photographed, but in each one we had to go in and animate the Boyles, just give them life, give them depth, make them look like they were liquid-filled. As gross as it is to talk about, it was much grosser to stare at it every day for a couple of months.
From the chest down, he was a suit, and if you could see it from the side, his body was hung up, but his body was done in an angle and piercing through, you can see his head and arms. The Boyles are laid on there. Some of them are built into the suit, which needed a lot of room for the pneumatics. It's supposed to be a ferocious acidic blast that was always planned to be enhanced. We knew we weren't going to get all we wanted out of it, especially with redressing the actors and so forth between takes.
It's a nighttime shot, there's a full moon, and all of our actors our characters are gathered inside the diner, and all of these, thousands, 10,000, 100,000 possessed people are closing in on the diner. So it's just a scope shot. Scott wanted something that says, yes, this is a big movie and this is how many people it's really affecting. The vast majority of the shot is a matte painting. And then immediately following that are some aerial shots. And again, that may be, 5,000 or 10,000 people. It's a sequence called Dark World, and it's sort of where the angels dwell, and I guess you could call it heaven, but it's a pretty dark version of heaven. So it's a full CG shot. Once the camera pushes past Paul Bettany, then the entire environment, the sky environment, the architecture, and every one of 10,000 angel figures are 3D. They swarm in a very kind of awe-inspiring and elegant way. They drop down toward camera and then pass immediately in front of camera. When the angels are flying by, we treated it as if your car is pulled over on the side of the freeway and a semi goes by, and just the force of air causes the car to shake. So we did that with the camera.
Only if I fail.
War is coming to man, Michael, whether you wish it or not. The dogs of heaven will be unleashed.
There's a scene where Jeep jumps on Gabriel and sends him over the edge of a cliff, and they spiral down maybe a mile.
We really beat the living hell out of Kevin on that scene in the movie. Gosh, we had Lucas jump on his back and thrust him over the edge of a cliff into a bag, into a big green bag, several times, and then we attached him to wires in a shot where they've fallen over the edge of the cliff and they're spiraling down to the next ridge below. We go with them. We're traveling down the rock face really fast, and Kevin's spiraling, and so is Lucas Black's character. And we had a stunt double for Lucas on him, but we had Kevin really do it, and we spun him. So basically the way that's done is they're hanging on wires above a big green screen, and the camera's pointing straight down at them, and we spin them. And that couldn't have been really that much fun. I just have to have thought they would have all just wanted to barf afterwards, but we kept spinning them for 10, 15 minutes. It was really pretty brutal.
And Kevin, I think, almost threw up because, after take 6 of spinning really fast in one place, the entire environment is a 3D matte painting. So the cliff face that passes right by camera and the distance all the way to the ground is all created. and the wings, of course, are added. So the only thing that was photographed are just the two actors, and everything else in the frame is created.
Of course, we've got digital wings on the characters and these big virtual environments, which are a lot of fun. And Spin did all that work, and Joe Bauer supervised that. It's all really well done.
Action!
I'm mostly proud of the fact that to me, it doesn't feel like a visual effects driven movie. It does have a lot of them in there, but maybe not in such a sort of obvious way. I think it's still, I don't think they ever overpower the characters and the character story.
Cut. Very nice.
Cut.